The sky was dark and heavy with smoke. The sun tried to shine through thick clouds, but its light was weak and tired. The ground was wet with rain, but the water mixed with dust and ash. The air smelled like fire and death. Everything was quiet, except for the sound of small cracks and distant echoes. The place looked like a graveyard. But this was no ordinary graveyard. It was a battlefield, a place where many had lost their lives. Among the ruins, a young woman moved slowly. Her clothes were torn and dirty. Her face was scratched and covered with dust. Her eyes were wide, full of fear and pain. She was alone. She was the only one left alive from her colony. The rest, her family, friends, neighbors, all gone. Killed in the terrible massacre, her name was Sarah. Sarah's heart was beating fast. She didn't understand how she had survived. She didn't know why she was still alive when so many others were dead. She remembered the loud noises, the explosions, the screams, the flashes of light. Then everything had gone dark. When she woke up, she was lying under the broken wall of her home. Her world had changed forever. She looked around carefully. Broken buildings, burned trees, destroyed machines, and all signs of the attack. Alien ships had come down from the sky. Strange creatures with sharp claws and glowing eyes had attacked. The aliens did not leave anyone alive. It was a massacre, quick and merciless. Sarah's hands trembled as she stood up. She felt cold and tired, but she could not stop. She had to move. She had to survive. As she walked, her eyes caught something strange on the ground. Half buried in the dirt was a small device. It was not like anything she had seen before. It was smooth and shiny, with lights that blinked slowly. It had strange symbols carved on it, symbols that did not belong to any human language. Sarah picked up the device carefully. It was warm in her hand, as if it had some kind of life inside it. She didn't know what it was, but something told her it was important. She decided to keep it with her even though she didn't understand why. She moved away from the ruins and tried to find a safe place. Her mind was full of questions. What had caused the massacre? Why had the aliens attacked her colony? What was this device? Sarah was afraid, but she was also curious. She wanted to know the truth. She wanted to find answers. Suddenly, she heard a noise behind her, a soft sound like footsteps. She froze. Her heart jumped. She quickly hid behind a broken wall. Her eyes searched the shadows. A figure appeared. It was a small animal, maybe a dog or a fox. It looked scared, but it did not run away. It came closer, its eyes shining in the dark. Sarah slowly reached out her hand. The animal sniffed her fingers and then licked her hand. For the first time since the massacre, Sarah felt a small spark of hope. She was not completely alone. She named the animal Shadow. Shadow followed her as she walked through the forest near the ruins. The forest was quiet, but Sarah felt eyes watching her. She did not know if they were human or alien. The night came, cold and silent. Sarah found a small cave to rest in. She put the device next to her. She looked at it for a long time, trying to understand its secrets. Suddenly, the device blinked. A soft blue light shone from it. Sarah jumped, surprised. The light moved like it was alive. It made a low humming sound. Sarah felt a strange connection to the device. It was like it was trying to communicate with her. She did not know what it meant, but she knew her life was about to change. She thought about the massacre again. So many people had died. Why had she survived? Was it because of the device? Was she chosen for something? Sarah did not have answers, but one thing was clear. She could not stay in the ruins. The aliens might come back. They would want to find the device. She had to leave. She had to find other survivors. She had to fight back. Before she slept, Sarah made a promise to herself. She would not be a victim. She would become a warrior. She would use whatever power she had to protect her people and stop the aliens. As she closed her eyes, the device's light slowly faded, but Sarah's heart was burning with new strength. Tomorrow was a new day, A day full of danger and hope. The massacre had taken everything from her. But Sarah was still alive, and her next move would change everything. Sarah woke up early in the small cave. Outside, the forest was quiet but full of shadows. Her new friend Shadow was curled up beside her, safe and warm. Sarah looked at the strange device again. It was still glowing faintly with a blue light. She felt the device was important, but she did not know why. She carefully took the device in her hands and examined it. The smooth surface was cool, but alive with soft pulses. Strange symbols covered it. Sarah did not understand the symbols. They were not like any writing she had ever seen. She tried pressing one of the lights on the device. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the air. The device opened a small panel. Inside was a small screen showing images. Strange stars, alien ships, and a map with blinking lights. Sarah's heart raced. The device was a kind of map. It was pointing to a place far away, a secret location. But why was this device here? And why had it survived the massacre? Sarah decided she needed answers. She could not stay in the forest forever. She had to understand the device's power. Maybe it could help her fight back. As she packed her few belongings, Sarah heard a noise nearby. She froze. Her eyes scanned the trees. Suddenly, she saw movement. A tall alien scout was searching the area. The alien's eyes glowed red in the dark. Sarah held her breath and stayed very still. Shadow growled softly. The alien moved closer. Sarah's heart beat faster. The alien stopped near the cave but did not see her. It turned and disappeared into the forest. Sarah knew she was lucky this time, but the danger was real. The aliens were still hunting survivors. They wanted the device. Sarah decided to move quickly. She left the cave and walked toward the secret location on the device's map. The journey was hard. The forest was thick and full of strange noises. Along the way, Sarah met other survivors hiding from the aliens. They were weak and scared, but they shared stories about the attack. They said the aliens were searching for something very valuable. Sarah showed them the device, but she kept its secrets. She did not want to put anyone in danger. Still, the survivors decided to help her. They formed a small group, ready to fight for their future. One night, while they camped near a river, the device suddenly glowed brightly. The symbols moved like they were alive. Sarah felt the device was trying to tell her something important. She touched the screen again. A new message appeared. A warning. The aliens were planning a new attack. They wanted to destroy all survivors and take the device. Sarah knew she had to act fast. She could not wait for help. She had to protect her new friends and the device. But the device was more than a map. It was a key to a secret power. Sarah could feel it inside her, a power growing stronger every day. The question was, could she control it? Or would it control her? Sarah looked at the stars above. The sky was dark, but she was no longer afraid. She was ready to fight. The device was her weapon, and she was ready to use it. Her next move would decide the fate of her people. Sarah and her small group of survivors moved carefully through the thick forest. Every sound made her heart beat faster. She held the strange device tightly. It was still glowing softly, like it was alive and watching everything. The group had no choice but to escape. The aliens were coming closer. Their scouts searched every corner of the forest. Sarah knew if they were caught, it would be the end for all of them. Shadow, the small animal, stayed close to Sarah, sensing the danger too. The survivors were tired, hungry, and scared, but they trusted Sarah. She had become their leader. Suddenly, a loud noise broke the silence. The group stopped. Ahead, through the trees, they saw bright lights. Alien ships hovered above the ground, shining their searchlights everywhere. Sarah whispered, "We must hide. Now." They ran to a nearby cave, deeper and darker than the last, one Sarah had stayed in. Inside, Sarah pressed the device to her chest. It felt warm, like it was giving her strength. The aliens were too close. Sarah heard their machines, heavy footsteps and strange sounds. They were hunting for her and the device. Time was running out. Sarah's mind raced. She had to think fast. She remembered the secret map on the device. It showed a hidden path, a narrow, dangerous way through the mountains. It was risky, but it was their only chance to escape. She told the group, "We take the mountain path. It's hard, but the aliens won't find us there." The survivors nodded, trusting her decision. As they left the cave quietly, Sarah noticed something strange. The device pulsed brighter. It was like it was guiding her, lighting the way. The journey was difficult. The mountain path was steep and rocky. Sarah's legs hurt, and her body was weak, but she kept going. She knew the future of her people depended on her. One night, while they rested, Sarah saw the stars shining above. She thought about the massacre and all she had lost, but she also thought about the device, the strange power inside it. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain in her hand. The device was glowing fiercely, almost burning her skin. Sarah pulled back but did not drop it. She whispered, "What do you want from me?" Before she could answer, a soft voice echoed in her mind. It was the device. It was alive. It said, "I am the key. Together we can change everything." Sarah was shocked. She had never heard a machine speak, but she believed it. She had no other choice. The device was not just a tool. It was a living power, and it had chosen her. The next morning, the group reached the mountain pass. They could see the alien ships far behind them, searching but unable to follow. Sarah smiled for the first time in weeks. She had escaped, for now. But she knew the real fight was only beginning. Her next move would be the most dangerous one yet. Sarah and her group finally reached a hidden camp deep in the mountains. The camp was small but alive. People were working, repairing weapons, and sharing food. These were rebels. Survivors like Sarah who refused to give up. Sarah felt hope for the first time in weeks. Maybe she was not alone after all. The leader of the rebels was a strong man named Marcus. He looked at Sarah carefully when she arrived, especially at the strange device she carried. Marcus said, "We've heard about this device. It could be the key to winning this war, but it is also dangerous." Sarah nodded. She did not fully understand the device's power yet, but she felt it growing inside her, a power that scared her but also gave her strength. The rebels welcomed Sarah's group, but not everyone trusted her. Some thought she might be a spy. Sarah knew she had to prove herself. Over the next days, Sarah trained with the rebels. She learned to fight, to use weapons, and most importantly, to control the strange energy from the device. Sometimes the device reacted unexpectedly. It sent out bursts of light or made Sarah feel stronger and faster. The rebels called it the gift, but not everyone liked the gift. Some rebels were afraid. They whispered that such power could be dangerous, that it might hurt Sarah or even turn her into what they fought against. One night Sarah had a dream. She saw herself surrounded by glowing light, leading an army against the aliens. But then the light turned dark, and she was alone, lost in shadows. She woke up sweating. She didn't know what the dream meant. Was the device helping her, or was it controlling her? Sarah shared her fear with Marcus. He said, "Power is always dangerous, but it is what you do with it that matters." Meanwhile, the rebels planned their next move. The aliens were building a massive base nearby. If the rebels attacked and destroyed it, they could change the war's course. Sarah knew she had to join this fight. She was ready to lead, but she needed the device's full power. As the rebels prepared, Sarah felt the device glowing stronger. It was ready, or maybe it was warning her. The night before the attack, Sarah looked at the stars and whispered, "I won't let fear stop me. This power is mine to control, and I will use it to save my people." The next day, the battle would begin, and nothing would be the same. The battle was over. The rebels had won, but the cost was high. Many brave fighters were lost. Sarah stood on the edge of the destroyed alien base, holding the glowing device tightly. The device was stronger than ever. It pulsed with energy, almost like it was alive. Sarah felt its power inside her growing, but then something unexpected happened. The device showed her images, memories from the aliens. She saw their world, their leaders, and a dark secret. The aliens were not just invaders. They were running from something worse, a deadly enemy that could destroy all life in the galaxy. Their massacre was a desperate move to survive. Sarah's mind raced. This changed everything. She shared this secret with Marcus and the rebels. They were shocked but understood why the aliens were so ruthless. Now Sarah had a bigger choice. Use the device's power to fight the aliens or try to find a way to stop the deadly enemy that threatened everyone. But not everyone agreed. Some rebels wanted revenge. They saw the aliens only as enemies to be destroyed. Others trusted Sarah and wanted to find peace. Sarah felt torn. The device was powerful but dangerous. She had to be careful. One night, as Sarah studied the device, it glowed brightly and spoke in her mind again. "You are the key," it said. "Use my power wisely." Sarah realized the device was not just a weapon. It was a guide, a tool for hope. She made a decision. She would lead the survivors not only to fight, but to understand the bigger war. She would try to find a way to save all life, humans and aliens alike. The next steps would be the hardest yet, but Sarah was ready. Her next move would change everything forever. The night was quiet, but Sarah's heart was full of thoughts. The battle had changed everything. She had seen the truth behind the alien attack, a fight for survival, not just hate. The device in her hand glowed softly. It was no longer just a weapon. It was a key to a new future. Sarah stood before the gathered survivors and rebels. Marcus looked at her with respect. "What will you do now?" he asked. Sarah took a deep breath. "We will build a new alliance, not just to fight but to protect all life. Humans, aliens, everyone. We must find a way to stop the real enemy before it destroys us all." The group nodded slowly. It was a big task, but hope was stronger than fear. Sarah held up the device. "This power can help us. Together, we will learn to control it. Together, we will fight to save our world and theirs." Days turned into weeks. Sarah and the survivors worked hard. They sent messages to other colonies and even tried to communicate with some alien groups who also wanted peace. Sarah trained every day, learning more about the device's power. It gave her strength, speed, and new abilities she never imagined. But the true challenge was still ahead, facing the deadly enemy that threatened the galaxy. One morning as the sun rose, Sarah stood on a hill, looking at the sky. She was no longer the scared girl from the massacre. She was a leader, a warrior, and a symbol of hope. Her journey was far from over, but now she had a purpose: to unite, to protect, and to fight for a better future. The massacre had taken much from her, but Sarah's next move had changed everything, and this was just the beginning. Sarah's story became legend. Survivors told tales of her courage, the strange device, and the alliance she built. Children listened with wide eyes, dreaming of a better future. But Sarah knew the fight was not over. The galaxy was vast, and danger still lurked in the shadows. She trained new leaders and shared her knowledge. The device's power was passed down carefully, only to those who proved themselves worthy. New threats appeared, but the alliance was ready. United, they faced every challenge together. Sarah looked at the stars one last time. She smiled, knowing she had changed history. Her legacy was hope, a reminder that even in darkness one person could make all the difference.